Right. Hopefully, this works and everything, and hopefully, when you're looking at this, anything with like text in the background is the right way round. So, hopefully, we get some people on. I thought I'd do a webcam one today rather than a video game one, because I know more people watch these. So, in the background, I've got 2 of 4 Polish sort of old NBC sort of training poster things I sent. Well, like more like scrolls actually, but they're pretty cool if you like those old sort of posters, a bit like the Soviet one I had behind it, but that's still there. But they're just hanging up blocking the gas masks. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some people on. And yeah, I'm feeling quite a bit better now. I'm still not completely perfect. I'm still getting some, like stomach cramps and all that. I think it's my ulcerative colitis, or I had a stomach bug, which then set off my ulcerative colitis. Right, Byron, as I was just saying, I'm doing a lot better than I was like a week or 2 ago. Because I basically think I got some sort of stomach bug. I think that's what it ended up being. And then that flared up my ulcerative colitis. So then, I had to start, once I realised it was the UC that was then playing up, I was able to start going on to the stronger medication, I'm prescribed, but I don't take normally. I just take like sort of a morning sort of tablet type thing for that. So I then went on to the stronger medication that seems to be settling down a bit. Right, Scott? You're in the crawl space basement. Yeah, so that's the good news at least, is that yeah, it seems like just going to the like the stronger medication I'm given for that exact reason. Where you just every now and then I have to get a new prescription if it's running out of date. And then you just keep it sort of in a cupboard in case you need it. It's not very fun medicine. It's not, like good painkillers or anything. It's just simply, just like stronger versions of the regular tablets. So you get stronger side effects, but it does do the main job better. So I've been at work and stuff. It's just that, like, on a lot of days, I've had the energy to do work and then nothing else, just because, I've obviously walked the dogs or whatever, or gone and done like an 8 or 9 hour shift, then got home and then just, felt completely knackered because I've been, sort of with cramps the entire day, just sort of doing it. But yeah, so good news is I should be getting the YouTube videos done now because on Monday I did that one on that Polish Amoeba NBC poncho thing, which was like I said, really, really like talky. I've watched little clips of it, Ethan, but I've not watched enough really to give you any proper opinions on it. I mean, what are they really talking about? Just like global warming in Ukraine or something? What, the posters, or do you mean the one I did the video on the other day? The one on Monday, Byron? Yeah, there's an even cooler hazmat suit in that box, but I haven't got round to filming that video yet. But all right, Rajiv, but because I don't have like an oxygen tank for it, it's one where you won't see it inflated because it's one of those ones that connects to an oxygen tank, and then it like inflates off the oxygen tank, and obviously it then works on its own thing. But I can still obviously put it on even though it's going to look deflated on me. But it's very similar to that Polish Ub one, I think it was called, that I did the video on before. But it's like a bright yellow one instead. I guess this is like the non-filter version of it. It's like the airline version. Yeah, positive pressure suit. So it's like a proper positive pressure, big fat hazmat suit thing. Like where it's got like the big sort of plasticky face bit, and you look kind of like a Teletubby in it. Well, I've had a lot of experiences, even like where I've nearly been hit by a car and stuff like that. So I guess that counts. But they're only really scary. At the time, you almost don't find them scary. You're more like, oh shit, and then afterwards you think, oh, that was close. So it's hard to say actually with stuff like that, because there's stuff where like I've done stuff that's caused me anxiety, and I'd say in many ways for me that's scarier, because that like if you have a situation where like you're nearly hit by a car or whatever, you end up sort of, it's only afterwards that you then think, oh shit, that was close, and then you might sort of get a bit of shock from it or whatever. Because there's been a lot of times, where I've just been driving and had to suddenly swerve because obviously somebody coming the other way is playing on their phone or whatever, or not paying attention to the road. And there's been a couple of times, where crossing the road, a car's just not, even though you're crossing, what should be a sensible distance from a car, with a certain, you know, speed limit on the road, and then the cars just come speeding down, you know, and nearly hit me. But closest I think though I actually got to getting completely smushed was a bus that came. I've said this one quite a few times, but a wrong way down a wrong, like, one-way street. So, you know, like, the driver obviously got lost. And stupidly, I only looked, you know, the way traffic should be coming, and then nearly, yeah, got run down by a bus. Yeah. So yeah, it was my fault for not looking, but ultimately as well, it was the bus driver's fault for fucking, you know, not actually following the roads the way they should be. But yeah, that's obviously why you're meant to look left, look right, or left again, or whatever it is, or vice versa, isn't it? I mean, I always do that when I'm driving, you know, at a junction. But saying that, I think I'm probably safer crossing the roads now that I've learnt to drive than I was before that, because at least once you've learnt to drive, you're actually more aware of it from, like, the driving perspective. But yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, Rajiv. What I like is when you're going to, like, what I like is if I get a shift or I'm having to drive into work, but it's like half term or whatever, and the roads are a lot quieter, and you're like, oh, this is so much safer driving with, you know, like, less cars on the road where they're just keeping better distances. Yeah, wouldn't it be your left hand? Because aren't you meant to do that to lean over or something, not just do that? Because we're obviously right-hand drive. But yeah, I know what you mean. Or unless you're on the passenger side, then yeah, but yeah, there was a really bad cyclist I saw today, actually. After I walked the dogs, you know, one just literally powering along all the pedestrian roads, nearly knocking pedestrians over. And obviously, I bet he's the sort of person that when he's then riding on the roads, he's not stopping at red lights, or you know, he had no high vis on, no helmet, no lights on his bike. Um, I don't know, Ethan, because I've never had to pull a gun from a shoulder holster. But I suppose, are you comfortable using one? It's the sort of thing where if you've, you know, any sort of holster, I think if you have it and you can pull a gun out effectively from the holster, it's not bad. It probably depends on what you're using the holster for, like what clothing you're wearing. Um, but yeah, and there was also a driver. I wish I had my dash cam on today, because there was a driver in front of me at one point that I gave a good distance to, because he was swerving like proper left and right. So either he was a drunk driver, like falling asleep at the wheel or whatever. But you know, like, he was tailgating me for a bit. Then as soon as he got a chance, he put his foot down and got past me. And then you know, I obviously then hung back a bit and didn't go at the full speed limit. He was speeding anyway, but I was just watching him sort of wiggle along the road like that as he went along. But yeah, so the most interesting thing I've seen, obviously, yesterday was obviously that Poland has been hit by a missile. And at the moment, they still don't know if it's Russian or if it was a Ukrainian air defense missile that went up to try and hit an incoming Russian missile, and then, you know, like, went off target and came back down inside Poland. Because that's obviously the problem if you don't have, like, super high tech anti air stuff like an S-300. Because this is what they're saying, it was like an S-300 from the 70s or something. So it was one where obviously well, this is what they think. So say the Russian missile was coming in like that, and the Ukrainian one, say the Russian one had a target there, Ukrainian one went up, whatever, chased the Russian one, and then overshot it like that, I think is the idea. All right, I've not actually been streaming much recently or doing videos, because if you didn't catch it, cheers. I've got two more that I've not unfilled yet. B-Store sent me loads and loads of old Polish surplus again, so I'm slowly going to be getting through that, because there's obviously that talky NBC suit I did the other day. I think some of this is actually still talc from where, even though I put all my clothes on that day and straight in the wash, I swear the talc's contaminated other stuff around the house. But yeah, if you didn't see, Hype, I think it was like a stomach bug I ended up getting that set my ulcerative colitis off. But now I've started taking the stronger UC medicine again. It's sorting itself out, it seems. So I'll just for the next week stick to the sort of higher dose medication, and then if that doesn't start sorting it after that, that's when I have an email to contact, like, the inpatient unit at the hospital, or outpatients, whatever it is. It'll be outpatients. And then that's where they might say come in for a scan or whatever, or blood tests. Yeah, Raju, that's the thing as well. That's what I was saying, that because as you get so many like cold, flus, and like stomach bugs at the moment, yeah, it's really hard to know, isn't it? And that's the problem if you have ulcerative colitis as well, is that until you can actually physically spot the bleeding, you don't know if it's that flaring up. Because sometimes you could just, be getting a very, very minor flare up that just feels like you've got the stomach bug, or you could vice versa have a stomach bug, think it's your UC playing up. Yeah, Rajiv, I had one that lasted about 1 day recently, as in about maybe a month ago, and that was like one of the first days I'd been off work since like COVID a year before. And that was just because, like, vomiting and diarrhea, literally not very pleasant for the viewers, I know, but for like, all night, like I got no sleep that night and I was just exhausted, and then I finally had proper sleep, for like hours and hours and hours once I, finally completely emptied myself out. Don't think I've ever been to a proper cosplayer thing. I've obviously been to things where people have had costumes on. I've done fun runs and stuff, but I've not been to like a Comic Con or anything like that. Yeah, so there's going to be a load of videos hype coming up on all the Polish surplus I've been sent. So there's another hazmat suit in there. There's a really rare model of DP66, which technically isn't really any better than a normal DP66. It's just like a different kind of case to it and all that. So there's a little Polish handheld Geiger counter that's cool, which I think is from the communist period. So it's one that's like designed to sit on your belt like that. Actually, the easiest way of explaining it, imagine that Chinese Type 75, but it has a wand coming out of it. So you actually have like a beta probe, but it comes out of like a Type 75 looking Geiger counter. So you basically wear it on a belt. The battery check works all right, but I haven't got it to read samples yet, so I might just try at some point turning it on for like an hour on the battery check or something, and see if it warms it up, if that's the problem. If not, I'll see if the wires are all tight. I mean, 5.56 and 5.45 are both good or bad if you're getting shot with them. I think 5.56 is apparently better, isn't it? But again, there's not going to be much in it. They're very similar powered cartridges, and it just comes down to the quality control and, like what the tip is and everything for what you're doing. Favorite German gas mask? I really like the M2000, or whatever it was called, when I had a chance to review one. The green modern one. The M2000, that was, in terms of best, I think that is just the best one, because it's more modern, more comfortable, and all of that stuff. There's probably some other, like, really good Draeger civilian masks as well. But the Draeger M2000 was really good. The worst one is probably that mummified one I've got. Well, there's probably worse ones than that, but, like, the GM54 or whatever it was called. The one that was, like, the West German, like, do a rerun of the German GM30 or whatever it was, for like a while, but it's made with really low quality materials. Yeah, I think that's the thing, hype, isn't it? It depends what you want. Do you want it to penetrate more, but then you're probably not going to, do as much damage to soft tissue, or vice versa? But yeah, it's either way. I wouldn't want to be shot at by either of them, especially if the person shooting at you is a good shot, or it's just a lot of automatic fire. I've not seen bulletproof scooter helmet, Zach, but I have seen. I think some nations again have helmets that are like riot helmets that again look kind of like scooter helmets, but they'd be because like as if right. Let's see if it makes sense what I'm saying. Like where a normal riot helmet isn't bulletproof because they're just designed to basically protect your head like a bike helmet or a scooter helmet or whatever, against like blunt force trauma or like a blade going through it or whatever else. But there are some nations now that seem to like make a military style looking riot helmet, which I think has Kevlar in it. I wouldn't say it's properly bulletproof, but it's probably a lot more like shrapnel and, like shot resistant essentially. My favourite Geiger counter, Logan. If I say the radio code, does that count? Because it's not actually a Geiger counter, it's a spectrometer. But in all honesty, that's my favourite one, just because it's very small, the battery lasts ages, and it will tell you what your actual radiation source is coming from. If not, I really like the other one, the radio code. But again, there's lots of counters I'd probably like more if I got them, but they're very expensive ones, you know. Well, Zach, generally, as far as I'm aware, M6. Again, it depends on the cartridge, because if you're on about 545 with like an AK-74, like a modernized AK-74, they generally have very low recoil. But yeah, that's what I'm sort of saying. It doesn't really, you know, a lot of these are very theoretical questions, because again, it's what cartridge you end up putting in it and how well made the gun is, rather than. It used to be £100, Byron. The reason is at the moment is because radio code were based in Russia, and now I think they've had to move everything to was it Cyprus or somewhere? Yeah, the other interesting thing with AK-74s and AKMs that I keep forgetting is if you look at the gas brake, whatever you want to call it, like the gas return tube on it, they're actually different on the 74 and the M. Like, isn't it the M that's got the diagonal angle and the 74 is like just a straight up one? You mean like the speed helmets or fast helmets, whatever they're called, Zach? I prefer the ones with the ear protection. You know, like that, where you've got the bits going down the side, you know. But, you know, I don't know if it would work, Ethan. I mean, there is it the South Korean K1 that's the really weird one that's like a weird hybrid of AR and AK? Yeah, as long as it's a sensitive counter, Byron, it would tell you. So if you've got a good alpha, like Geiger count of an alpha probe on it, sorry, that would definitely pick up, what do you call it? That would pick up uranium glass. But again, it depends on uranium glass, because I've had some bits of uranium glass before that some counters really struggle to pick up, and others, obviously, if I guess they put more uranium in it, that most counters spot easily. So I think it's just, again, one of the things like that, that the more uranium in the uranium glass, the easier you're going to pick it up with any of the counters anyway. All right, I've not seen that channel though, but yeah, again, so like I said, you're not. I don't know why you're really asking me if I can't answer you. And he said, if scooter helmets were bulletproof, would they make great military helmets? Well, I think most nations now seem to be doing the thing of the idea that you have some sort of ballistic face shield with a helmet, theoretically. Oh, really good hype. Thank you again. I'm going to do a video on it at some point, but I'm still using it a bit more first. So obviously the thermal camera on it's really good, but obviously, like you said, you can't focus it, so it's only good if you're at, like, you know, properly good anyway. If you're at the distance, like a meter away, like half a meter to a meter that it's designed for. Although I really like the fact you can do the dual, you know, like picture in picture or the like overlay thing of the camera, so you get a better idea of what you're actually looking at with the low res sort of fixed thermal. The night vision looks good, but I've not had a chance to test it yet properly other than indoors. But as it's getting darker earlier now, I should get a chance to do that. In terms of speed for apps, it seems absolutely fine. Camera quality obviously is really good. Battery is actually surprisingly good on it. So that's another thing I've noticed, that you know, the only thing I want to find out with it, and I don't know if you know, do you know how to stop it, like when you pick the phone up, turning the screen on? Because with my old phone, there was a way of doing that, but it was in like Motorola's options, not the actual like Android settings. So it's just basically if I have the phone, you know, where it might be knocked about in my pocket or whatever, the screen doesn't keep turning on. Self-propelled anti-aircraft guns, Zach. That way you don't need a missile. I've not used that one, Lucas, but when I had the FLIR TK Scout, like the cheapest model, that was surprisingly good for when it was first made, especially if you got it not at the full price. But yeah, if you're looking at the FLIR ones, see if you can see the infrared or like the iRay ones, whatever they call them. See what like the models and specs compare with price wise, because some of the Chinese thermals now are getting to like very competitive in terms of like, you know, price performance. Right, bots. Like I said, Tough Doge, I actually kind of and don't like the filters on that. The more you practice of it, the better it gets. But I still don't really like the design. There you go, Pipes answered you there. But yeah, because yeah, just to show people the thermal on this one, I'll see if I can get the brightness so you can see the screen all right. Don't know, I'm coughing now, probably because I ate a bit before doing the stream, and now I'm talking a lot. It's, you know. So what we do is we go into the, I'll just put do not disturb one of them. So we go into the app that says Infrared. That will load up. And when it first loads up, it will do the overlaid picture one. So notice you can actually see things in the background. This is a bit annoying now. You can just have it on infrared mode only. Like that. And then obviously you can change it to whatever colour pattern you like. I quite like the night one actually, where it's just shades of green. But again, like I said, there's a picture-in-picture mode, which is cool. So that's PIP. So what this does is essentially shows you the thermal in like the top corner with what you're looking at with the regular camera. Like I said, so this is really nice for what it is, but you know. The only problem, Zach, I think, of getting rid of a lot of stuff like that is there's been so many times in history where armies get rid of something only to find they immediately need it again within like a couple of years. Yeah, fair enough. It's just like I'm saying, like the good thing at least, Hype, is the battery's not been a problem on this, but I've had that with some phones before that, you know, the battery keeps draining a lot in my pocket because the screen keeps lighting up and wasting the battery. You'd have to ask Hype the price for getting it in China, Byron, but in the UK, I think on Amazon they're like 400 quid, but I bet they're a lot cheaper than that elsewhere. Oh, yeah, see you, bots. Right, have I missed any comments? Yeah, we were on about that earlier, Plato. That's good, bots, about your subs. No, I can't really recommend any laptop bags in all honesty because I've not used laptops properly in years. Like, you know, if I have to use a work laptop now and again, I'll use one. But I prefer desktop PCs or just using a smartphone. Normally, you can just get like a decent brand, can't you, for like whatever the like, you know, you look up the rough inch size of your like laptop across or whatever, then get one with a bit of extra room, you know, just a nice padded one. But yeah, so like I said, that so that's the thermal, that bit there in the middle with the weird looking glass. But yeah, like I said, the picture-in-picture and the picture overlay thing are really cool because that's actually quite nice to actually in the image be able to see stuff that, you know, the thermal can't see. All right, see you, Ethan. But yeah, because the differences that I like, again, the thing I like about the smaller infrared, one like this model, is that it obviously is focusable. So with a model like this on a phone, you can actually focus it. Whereas obviously that one that's built into the smartphone can't be focused. So it has like a fixed, it's about, I think, 0.5 meter to a meter. So it's one that, say you see an animal sitting on a fence in the distance, like say you see a big bird like a crow or a raven or something, or an eagle or what have you, just for an example, or an owl, sitting on a fence post, or like a telephone wire or whatever, in the distance, the phone is really bad, the one on that, for actually being able to see their heat signature, because it's not trying to focus at that range. That's really good. Yeah, I found this is really I've not got it really very wet other than being in the rain, but I have dropped it a couple of times by accident, as always happens, and yeah, the case seems to be holding up absolutely fine. No, Lucas, I've been over it a few times, but it's basically, although I've got a gun safe here, I have nowhere near me, as far as I'm aware, where I could either, basically do any shooting, either on like a farmer's land or whatever, or any like, proper sort of either competition or just club shooting. Whenever I looked into it before, annoyingly, there was one in my area, like about a year prior to me being interested in getting into it, that did like historical musket shooting and stuff like that. And now apparently they just don't do it anymore. Because there's been a load of these things where some of the groups died with COVID as well. But what like historical ones, Rhino Bushcraft, are ones that are just practical ones for everyday use. Because obviously, if you just want one as a survival type thing, I would definitely recommend you get a modern one, not a surplus one, unless you find a surplus one really cheap somewhere. Because a lot of the modern ones are just so much smaller, a better battery life. It's often a lot more rugged. They've not got a lot more cables and wires trailing about everywhere that are going to get damaged. I liked Rogue One. That was the only thing I've watched that I liked since Disney took it over. I haven't watched any of their recent things. I've not watched Mandalorian either, and I've not watched Andor. No, it's the sort of thing I might watch, but again, I don't have Disney Plus, so it's one of those things where I have to watch it where if somebody links me to it somewhere. But vintage ones, right? In the US, the CDV 700 is really cool. That's the bright yellow one. So there's a CDV charging station there, but it's like it make you think of Fallout. Basically, it's like a rectangle yellow box with a screen on it and a wand that sits on the handle. The Soviet DP5s are good as well, if you can get the full kit for a decent price, because then you get like little headphones for it and everything. Yeah, I might check out Andor then. Thanks if you're recommending it. But yeah, but like I said, it depends a lot of the time what just turns up on the market when you're looking, because sometimes you can just find something that you didn't really even know existed, like on eBay or something, where just a load have turned up. But yeah, CDV 700s are kind of the one I think a lot of people think of when they think of Geiger counters, and I do really like the CDV 700. That sounds good, Lucas. Yeah, just a second then, Byron. It's not going to look very good. So it's not. Oh, let me just show you some pictures. So there's a tumble dryer that just finished. Let me turn the screen brightness down a bit, might help, and then I'll show you some stuff in the room live. But if I show you some screenshots photos I've taken with it. So there's that's a tumble dryer. So if it focuses, you'll see there. Look where it is saying it's about 28 on the outside of the door. 17 on another bit of it. I think that's the thing, Lucas, because they were probably into it when the laws were a bit more lenient on it. there's a dog on the dual picture mode, so you can actually see the grass rather than it just looking like a solid colour. That's what taps look like when they're running. So hot water tap is obviously the one that looks like it's got lava coming out of it. The cold tap is the one that just looks like dark blue liquids coming out of it. But yeah, let me show you in the room with it, and we'll see if we can angle it to show something warm. I'll tell you what I have to do. I'll pick the webcam up. So if I put this on here, hang on. I'll just do it on full-on IR mode so you can see stuff easily. Right, so this is what you'll find interesting, hopefully, if you see that. The back of the PCs... let me turn that light off first. Right. Yeah, this is really cool. So if you can see that there, if it focuses, what you've got there is it seeing the PCs like case with it open. So yeah, you can see there, look, the CPU cooler cables that are there. There somewhere. Probably harder to see them like that than it is on the phone. And that's the back of the CPU block there, look, when that focuses, if it focuses. Wants to keep focusing on my reflection. Show you the light on the ceiling, so that's like a light being on. But yeah, so if that's not falling over, get that back in frame. If I hold it like this, I'll probably be able to see what I'm doing a bit better. But yeah, so obviously you can see where stuff's hot and cold. Yeah, a little bit of it from the power leads in the PC, but it's the one it's mostly seeing is the I've got a liquid CPU cooler. You know, the ones that have a radiator on top, a pump on the like CPU, and it basically just pumps water in, or like a coolant in a circuit. So it's the in and out pipe essentially from the pump it's seeing there. So the actual pipes are about 30 Celsius apparently, but the room itself is about 15 Celsius at the moment apparently, depending on which bit of the room it looks at. FPS Russia, yeah, the American bloke who got arrested. I was like, the problem isn't with bullpups themselves. The problem is that Britain had a rifle called the L85, and basically everything that could have gone wrong with it went wrong with it. As in, the government kept cost cutting on the design, so the initial like prototype designs of it was so much better than the finished project, product. You know, and then the government's like, no, that costs too much. You know, make that bit cheaper. You know, change the design of that. And then it was being made by Enfield just before everybody got laid off, so nobody put any effort into making it. I'd say probably FN, Lucas. Yeah, I was using it the other day actually to check because we sometimes get leaks in one of the bits of roof in the house. You know, to actually see if I could see any water coming in, because it's actually much easier to see damp spots using a thermal than it is to try and, you know, like feel all the way along a piece of thing or whatever. Don't know, but like I said, the L85 isn't very good as it was. Like I said, if you watch the like Forgotten Weapons videos on the prototype versions, like, you know, compared to the finished one, and again, the A2 and A3 are apparently completely serviceable. It's just the reputational damage was done at that point. Yeah, we were on about that earlier, Brighto, although apparently, wasn't it an Ukrainian air defense missile that was trying to intercept a Russian one landing in Lviv or somewhere that then flew over and hit it? But again, I don't think they've actually officially announced yet, like NATO or whatever, Oh, now the focus has gone wrong. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I don't think NATO has actually confirmed yet. You know, like they've done the preliminary little conference thing, but I don't think they've confirmed yet. Yeah, you can probably read those in the background though, can't you? Because well, at least the big text on them. But yeah, I've got two others that I've not put up. Well, the thing is tough, Doge. A lot of other surplus sellers actually, like, you know, the surplus shops use eBay and just put their shops on there. So the prices are probably better on their own sites, but you do get a bit more protection with eBay. There's one I've used before that, again, they have an eBay page called Surplus and Lost, and they're all right. And I think Surplus and Outdoors was another one that was all right. The Finnish one, Varustrelka, or however it's pronounced, I can't pronounce it, is good. But again, the problem is often their shipping isn't always great to the UK. So I don't use them as much as I could do just because of the shipping prices. But I've used them before and they're good. What other ones are there? Yeah, like the thing is, all my local like actual brick and mortar surplus stores sadly have closed down. So you know, it's only really finding stuff on eBay, or you know, I've bought from Commando store in the US that a lot of people complain about, but I had absolutely no issue with them. As in, like, you know, I bought something, they calculated the shipping rate to the UK, which was reasonable, paid for it, you know, it arrived within 2 weeks, sort of thing, and it was the exact item that, you know, gas mask I ordered. So I've not had an issue with Commando store, but I've heard people in America complain about them. So again, it might depend what you're buying from them. Yeah, no, that's the cool thing is like the night vision one I've got, like the Cyclops, whatever it's called, is the one where you can put the Soviet camera lenses onto it, can't you? And apparently there's a really sought after Soviet camera lens, which was the one that was standard with the night vision unit. Again, mine doesn't have it because obviously the person who I bought the night vision unit from cheaply bought it to take the camera lens off. But yeah, I really like the FM12. If you can get one for £50 or less, that's a great price. I don't actually know if you compare them, which is the shorter of the two, because the cartridges for them are so similar. And I think, you know, with mag sizes and everything, it would come down mostly to, you know, being able to carry it on your side without much of an issue. But I wouldn't mind either. That's cool, right? I've got some uranium glass. Maybe MP7 then. Like I said, I like both of them. But I suppose then the mag's a bit more compact inside, isn't it, on the P90? But again, I don't think you'd go wrong with either of them. But yeah, both of them do the exact same job. That, you know, they have essentially something between a pistol and a rifle round, a bit like the M1 carbine. That's just very good at penetrating soft body armor. I thought there was one bit of the police as well. It might be one of the nuclear constabulary that actually use the P90 on one of the nuclear sites as well. I mean, in terms of my personal favourite, yes, I prefer the P90. I just because it's one of those classic guns, like it was in Stargate, wasn't it? And lots of like '90s video games. It just looks really cool. But yeah, like I said, it's I've not shot either of them, so you know I'm not the best person to ask. And again, a lot of it is also personal taste because I know some people that just don't get on with certain firearms. And I've watched videos even when you know they're firearms everybody else universally likes or whatever. Anyway, I won't be on too much longer because I've been on about 40 minutes, and like I said, at the moment my stomach's still not perfect, so I don't want to you know, overextend the stream and have to run off while actually on camera. But yeah, it's been good to get on again. I'll do a members one, maybe say tomorrow at 7 p.m. if people are around. If not, I'll try and do one Friday, and I can always do one during the day as well, a different day if that doesn't suit people. But all right, Viviette, nice to see you as well. But yeah, like I said, the good news is my stomach is getting better now. So I think what it was is I just got a stomach bug that then caused my UC to flare up. So now that, the bugs, I've had the bug, my immune system's probably dealt with it, and now I'm on the stronger UC medicine. It seems to be calming down again. Right, yeah, Friday. That sounds cool. Yeah. If I do on Friday, though, it probably have to be earlier in the day, not later in the day. That's the only thing. Yeah, I really like the 5.7 pistol, actually, just because of the fact that, you get 20 rounds in something quite compact, and it does a lot of damage for its size. Anyway, yeah, have a good day, everybody. Yeah, hope you all have a good day, and yeah, see you later. Like I said, I've got some more videos to get filmed as well in the next couple of weeks, and some stuff I've already filmed but not edited, to upload. So, right, see ya.